Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be going over slash analyzing the Afterlives Ardenweald trailer video thing. So this is the third of four here, and this one was really good, I thought. Like, it wasn't really my type, but it was definitely good. It had really good reviews from the community. So I'm going to go through the video first and highlight a couple things that I found interesting. So we start the video with a corrupted Ursak from the Emerald Nightmare. Right before we slay him, because we're the ones who slayed him in the Emerald Nightmare, we see a quick cut to Malfurion, who is comforting him as he passes on to the Shadowlands. Ursak says, I return at last to the long slumber, and then goes on to expand on that. But that made me think that this isn't the first time he has died and been sent there and then been reborn. So this is, I mean, based on that, there's really no other way to take that. So I found that to be very interesting that he's already been reborn before. The next we see Ardenweald with Ursak's soul coming down from the heavens and a dryad type creature that you find in Ardenweald awaiting him. He enters his own seed. So in Ardenweald, the souls enter a seed first for their winter or their slumber where they get tended to. And then they're waiting to be, as Ursak implied, reborn. We see the Grove Tender guy. I actually kind of remember his name. I just don't really know how to pronounce it. It's like Ardenweald or something like that. I'll just refer to it as him, probably. We see the Grove Tender nourishing the Ursak seed with anima that seems plentiful. This is of note because this is clearly before the Anima Drought, which means that it started after the Emerald Nightmare for sure. So it gives us a bit of a timeline. So the drought had to have started after the Emerald Nightmare because there seemed to be plenty of anima for Ursak when he first got there. We now next see the Winter Queen. The tender promises her to protect the souls of the seeds and, vows nothing will ever happen to them and he'll see them reborn. The Winter Queen is the head of Ardenweald. They call winter when the souls in seed form, and then reborn is called spring. And so by that I surmise that summer is maybe their life, and autumn is like their end days. So like their final, maybe the natural thing is that they get corrupted right before they die, or something happens right before they die. But autumn would maybe be like their end days then. The next scene, we are now in the Anima Drought. He says, season after season of this drought, which would mean it's been a while since Ursak got there. We could be talking anytime near the end of Legion or during the BFA timeline, just as a general guess of when this could be happening. So this literally could be after we defeated N'Zoth, it could be after we did something with Ajara, or it could have been, at the end of fighting the Pantheon and stuff at the end of Legion. But sometime in that timeline right there, we can kind of narrow down to where that's when the Anima Drought started. He notices a tiny bit of anima growing in the distance during this drought and goes to pick it like a fruit for Ursak's seed. However, it dies as he reaches it, and then he hears something going on in his grove. We see different creatures appearing to attack his grove, mostly same in looks as him, but they have 4 legs. Kind of think of Cenarius for their looks. As he's fighting them off fiercely, they tell him that they are not his enemy. He can't believe that because they're killing his grove, but then the Winter Queen appears. He realizes she sent them to his grove and feels betrayed. So the Winter Queen shows him what is to come, and is Ardenweald completely dying. Because he is so pure, like pure of soul, pure heart, the Queen allows him to choose whether to save the soul or to save Ardenweald, or the forest, as they call it. He chooses the forest, telling Ursak he is serving the wilds one last time. Ursak actually says that as he dies, so I can serve the wilds again. So this is him saying, serve the wilds one last time. He drains the anima from Ursak's seed and apologizes and calls him friend as they walk away, like on a mission. Him and the Winter Queen and the other warrior type people that she sent to the grove. He ends with vowing to protect Ardenweald, just as he vowed to protect his grove at the beginning. You definitely believe him. It's like a hero shot, so he seems pretty intent on protecting his grove, so I imagine he's pretty intent on protecting Ardenweald. So let's get into a little bit of analysis here. First of all, it was a great video. I already mentioned that. It wasn't necessarily my type. I like more of the Bastion style with the huge lore figures and stuff like that. But I had seen a ton of reaction from the community, people I know personally, and basically when you're moved that much by something, it's hard to say that it's anything less than really good. So while I'm not much of a tearjerker, some people said that they cried, and I totally get that. This is just especially for like druids, people who play druids maybe as their main or for a long time, maybe we're sad even just that Ursak died, let alone the story around it. So totally get that, and I totally approve of that. And it was a little bit different than the other two in that it was more of this like sad, we had more anger in the first one, a little bit justice, and then the second one we had more battling, fighting, and trickery and stuff like that. And this one's more sad, a sad tone. So the first thing I want to expand on is that they did make a point to show Malfurion at the start. So far, these videos have been meaningful with each scene. So, for example, in the Maldraxxus one, making sure that they show the demons, so tying the Burning Legion to it. It could reference something with Illidan, his brother, or Tyrande, the knight who's now the Night Warrior, or it could just be that Malfurion himself will come into play at some point. Or, of course, it could be nothing, and I'm just overreading it. But so far, each scene's been pretty meaningful, so Malfurion might come into play here. Ursak expressing that he has done this many times was also very interesting to me. Do those who serve life, so this is like they show the cosmology chart, this is like the life section. Ardenweald would be like in the life section of it. And so do those who serve life fully become like immortal once they reach a certain power? For example, would Malfurion be reborn? Like, so if he dies, is he going to come back now? Because he's like a super figure of druids and nature. I find this to be a very, very interesting plot point. It could also just be because Ursak was a wild god and so powerful that he is reborn. It's like something special that only the most powerful souls have happened to them. But all in all, Ardenweald is deeply promising for a lot of good possible storylines. So I'm definitely into that. And the last thing I wanted to expand on is, and the video implies he's killing Ursak to save the forest. Like, that's the overarching point there. So like Ursak doesn't technically get a say in it, but this is probably what Ursak would want. Ursak would sacrifice him. He's a noble bear, right? So he would sacrifice himself to save the forest, I'm sure. But it does bring a bit of a moral ethics dilemma into things, because you don't necessarily do that. Like, you don't kill your neighbor to save your boss at work or something like that, right? Like, there's like you might do that, but there's morals and ethics dilemma to that. It's quite possible that the Winter Queen is completely doing this for all the right reasons, so it's not anything bad. But knowing what maybe she even, like, for example, knows what's going to happen or what needs to happen to save Ardenweald, so this is for a purpose. Ursak has to be sacrificed in this way. It's also possible, with all the deceit and trickery, that she is in fact doing this and is somewhat corrupted and doing this for nefarious reasons, and that's why maybe they wanted you to think of a moral ethics dilemma there. But for myself, I am rooting for her to be on the good side, because I think that makes the story a little bit more interesting. So that's what I'm rooting for. So all in all, great video. Please subscribe to the channel, because that helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.